Hello and welcome to the Run Testers. My name's Nick and this is our first run review of the New Balance 1080 V15. So the 1080 line from New Balance is their premium cushioned neutral shoe. It sits above shoes, I guess, like the Rebel or the 880 as their most cushioned and comfortable everyday trainer. It's had a fairly big update for 2025 with an all new midsole foam being the star change, but there are also tweaks to the upper and the outsole of the shoe and a tweak to the price. It's now a bit more expensive. It's £170 or $170. It's a bit lighter than the 1080 V14, weighing in at 262 grams or 9.2 ounces in a UK 9, which is a US 9.5. You've got a high stack height here of 40mm at the heel, 34mm at the forefoot for a 6mm drop. I say a high stack out. Actually, these days, most brands are pushing beyond that for max cushion shoes into the kind of 45mm. This is a little bit more normal than that, but it is still, a very generously cushioned shoe. And that cushioning is this new Infinion foam. So that is the big change, the 1080 V15 compared to the V14, which I have here, which was a Fresh Foam X shoe. New Balance has stuck with Fresh Foam X across its cushion lineup for most of the past few years, either that or some version of their fuel cell foam. This Infinion is an entirely new material and the whole midsole is made from it in the V15. Feels a bit squidgier and softer to the touch than Fresh Foam, but obviously you'll get much more of an idea of how it feels when we actually get to running in the shoe, which I'll be doing tomorrow. There's a new upper on the shoe as well, which has got a fairly open design around the front for breathability. It's kind of a contoured upper. There's almost little valleys and troughs on it and ridges, and it's got quite a stiff feeling to the touch as well, which is interesting. Then there's a fair bit of padding on the tongue and collar as you'd expect. I mean, it's not gone overboard here, it's not the most plushly padded shoe out there, but it certainly should have a nice comfortable step-in feel. Got a fairly noticeable heel counter on the shoe, and actually there are ridges of plastic on the outside of the upper here as an external heel counter, as well as the extra support internally. Then the outsole of the shoe has been redesigned a bit, so you've actually got more exposed foam in the midfoot on the shoe that you had with the 1080 V14, but you've still got a good amount of coverage on the forefoot and heel. It's not the thickest layer in the world, but it looks pretty thick. We'll see how the grip is tomorrow. A lot of rain here in the UK at the moment, so I'm sure I'll get a chance to test the grip, but yeah, there's a little bit less rubber, I'd say, around the midfoot on this shoe than the previous version, which has helped with the drop in weight. So, just back from first run in the New Balance 1080 V15. New Infinion foam on display. I did my Sunday long run just now in the shoe, so it was 90 minutes on field. Nice sunny day, early afternoon, so I was moving along at a pretty decent lick, just trying to keep the heart rate, in nice easy zones. And yeah, it was really enjoyable. I'd say it's noticeably quite light for what is, a big cushion shoe. Foam felt very squishy at the start of the run. I'd say over the course of the run, it firmed up a little bit, probably just condensed a little bit. Out of the box, it was very, very squishy and bouncy in that. So firmed up a little bit. It felt pretty good. It feels like a foam for me that's still very much built for protection and recovery rather than being really super energy returning or energetic, or something like a Zoom X foam even, which is obviously well balanced now in lots of Nike's training shoes as well as being in the race shoes. So yeah, it felt good, felt comfortable. It's another thing I noticed, it felt like a slightly higher drop shoe than it is. I felt like I was snapping through quite a bit, almost like I do in like a 10mm drop shoe, and it's listed at 6. It felt a bit higher than that, but it wasn't like it was uncomfortable. It's just the ride feel wasn't as smooth and rocketed as I remember about the 1080 V14. Actually, that felt like quite a rocket shoe for sure, and this feels a little bit less so, more of a kind of a traditional ride to it. So it was a good run. I'm going to get the 1080 V14 out now and do a quick run with one on each foot, so it feels like. My memory of the V14, which was a while ago running in it now, was it was a smoother shoe and maybe a bit denser. This feels a bit lighter and felt a bit softer at the start of the run with that new foam, but by the end I'd say a bit similar feeling, but it didn't feel quite as rocket. But yeah, it felt solid. It felt like it's going to have decent range as a daily trainer, but maybe not the most exciting ride out of the box. I'd say that Infinion foam, like a new foam's always exciting, but it didn't completely blow me away. It felt good, but not like super lively. But anyway, let's do a quick run with the V14 as well. So I'd say, yeah, having done that little run in both shoes, suspicions confirmed. I'd say the new shoe definitely has that softer feel, squishier feel at the heel, and then it has a slightly flatter ride for me, definitely. I think you kind of pushed onto the forefoot, absorbs a nice bit of impact, but the 1080 V14 I think rolls off a little bit more smoothly off the front of the shoe there, which is just a slightly different feeling. I kind of prefer that more rolling ride, but maybe the squishier, softer feeling of this new shoe will grow on me more and will be more to the taste of most people in general. But yeah, it was a good run out in the V15 today. I think it was a good long run shoe. Feels like it's going to be quite a capable all-round daily trainer. And the new foam, I think, probably suits the market direction in general, and being a little bit squishier, a little bit softer. I think it will appeal to a lot of people. We'll have a lot more thoughts on how it rides and its versatility and how it compares to other shoes in a full review. So when it comes to fit of the New Balance 1080 V15, I'll wear a UK 9 for these, which is my normal running shoe size. New Balance, that converts to a US 9.5, so sometimes they can come up a little bit small. Lots of brands convert a UK 9 to a US 10, so if you're in the UK, bear that in mind. Around the rest of the world, though, I would stick to your normal running shoe size. I think I had the normal amount of room I expect from a UK 9, US 9.5, and it was comfortable for me on a long run today. I wasn't too cramped around my toes, really. I could go up half a size, again to a US 10 and get a little bit more room there. Both would have been fine for me, as I'm someone who's a little bit in between sizes, but it was comfortable enough for me on the run today. Good hold around the heel and midfoot. You've got quite a nice lightweight upper here for a very cushioned shoe. There is a bit of padding around the heel of the shoe and on the tongue, but there's nothing too oppressive or overbearing. This is, in general, not a shoe that's gone all out for the max cushion and max padding trend. It feels like a pretty daily trainer focused shoe rather than being just about cushioning and comfort all round. So the upper feels quite nicely balanced. It's definitely comfortable. You get that step in comfort from the padding at the back, but it's not too oppressive or anything. The slightly stiff feeling to the front of the shoe I noticed when I was first talking about it in our design section didn't really come across on the run. It was an upper that kind of disappeared on the foot. So yeah, no concerns at all with the fit. Stick to your normal size, same size I've used for all the 1080 shoes in the past. Sometimes in New Balance I go half a size up for their racing shoes because they can come up a bit cramped sometimes, but the 1080 has been fairly consistent and I used my normal size and was happy with it with the 1080 V15. So that was a pretty solid first run out in the New Balance 1080 V15. It wasn't a shoe that really blew me away today on the run, but it did do the job as a daily trainer on that long run today. It was comfortable enough, lightweight enough. In general, wasn't a shoe that I had to think about too much on the run. I think probably a slight concern is I did feel like I noticed over the course of the run that I was just starting to lose some of the softness and bounce from that foam, even over the course of just a half marathon distance. It wasn't a crazy long run or anything, and it just felt like it firmed up a little bit, flattened out. And yeah, it's got that slightly snappy ride. I definitely noticed as well when I was on the run today, whereas I think the 1080 V14 was a little bit more rockered and smooth on the run in my experience. This almost feels a little bit in between the last two models of the 1080 for me, in that the 1080 V13 was really soft, actually a bit too soft for me. I found it quite mushy, didn't get the bounce back I wanted, and it was comfortable, but it kind of became a bit laboured to run in that shoe I found over long distances at time. The 1080 V14 was much more to my taste, nice level of resiliency, still very comfortable, but a really nice rocker, very smooth ride to it. Really enjoyed that as a general daily trainer. This is somewhere in between, and I think it probably will work, because I think the 1080 V13 was a very popular shoe, and people will like the extra softness you're getting here compared to the 1080 V14, but maybe it isn't quite so much to my taste, especially as I don't think it's quite as rockered, this shoe, as the previous model. It feels, like I said, a bit more high drop almost than the previous models of the 1080, but I think it will do the job within the New Balance lineup as a cushion daily trainer. It does feel like a really good shoe. It's pretty expensive though, and it's a little bit against the trend, I guess, of these max cushion shoes we're seeing from lots of brands these days, and probably doesn't help it in my estimations in a way that I've just been testing the Nike Vomero Plus and the Nike Vomero Premium, which are two shoes I really rate very highly, and the Vomero Plus in particular I think is my favourite very cushioned daily trainer. Like, it's a fair bit more cushioned than a 1080 V415, and it is a fair bit heavier, but has a much livelier feel to the foam in it, based on this first run anyway. The Zoom X foam gives you a bit more bounce back, especially off the toes, than I got really from the 1080. So you're getting a little bit of extra comfort there at the back with that huge wedge of foam, and I do think it has a livelier ride. And the Vomero Premium's something a little bit different entirely. It's a mass stack shoe. It's like almost 100 grams heavier than this. So, but it is a very comfortable shoe that I have enjoyed for those kind of easy runs like I did today. So yeah, I do think this is going to be a nicely balanced all-round shoe. I'll put it that way. It's a New Balance shoe. It's got that fairly lightweight design, but you're getting a lot of comfort. It doesn't feel like it's too much shoe on the foot. Same time, it is comfortable and protective. It does really, I feel like it's going to tick the box as a generalist daily trainer. I just don't know if there's enough of a wow factor to the shoe to justify what is still a pretty high price. Like, it's not as crazy high as some shoes, but there are lots of shoes coming in cheaper, including New Balance's own Rebel V5 and the Puma Velocity Nitro 4 and that kind of thing. So it was a shoe that I enjoyed running in today, but yeah, I'm not entirely convinced by it just yet, but there's lots more testing to come.